We're in Prosper, Texas today, right outside of Dallas. This is a project that we started designing over a year and a half ago, and now framing is up. Today, we're gonna give you phase one of this amazing 10,000 square foot smart home. Not only that, but I'm gonna give you a lot of tips for you to keep in mind when you're building yours. Let's start. A year and a half ago, this was a floor plan. Today, you're looking at framing. In about 8 months, this is going to be our control center. This is where our rack is going to be located. As you can see, we have pre-construction conduit that's running to the exterior of the home and to the other building where we need to make sure that we have data in a whole separate rack. This is the room that took majority of the time to design, because this is where we have to account the equipment, the spacing, the layout, the ampage, the power, everything goes in this room. So I'm gonna take a second and give y'all a couple of tips and things to keep in mind when you're building your smart home. You should have thought about all of this months and months ago. However, if you find yourself at the framing stage, getting ready to come in with low voltage, and you need some ideas, today we're gonna talk about it. So this specific house has over 26 zones of audio, 6 surround sounds, lighting, audio, video, Wi-Fi, smart shades. So it's gonna have a lot of equipment. In our scenario, we're gonna have 3 racks in this home: an AV rack, a network rack, and a separate rack for the other building. Why am I telling you this? Because there's gonna be a lot of equipment that gets put into this room. So dimensions are things that you want to keep in mind. Now, I'm going to give you averages on the size of racks, because keep in mind that there's different types of racks. Most racks, you're going to need anywhere between 19 to 22 inches wide to be able to put the rack in there. When it comes to the depth of the rack, it just depends on the rack that you picked up. Some racks are deeper to allow more cable management. Those are gonna be anywhere between the 24 to 30 inches deep. Most racks are gonna be somewhere between 22 to 26 inches. So accounting for all of the equipment and all of the spacing that you need is critical and extremely important. Not only that, but all of the cabling has to be done correctly. So from here, I'm gonna take you to the master bedroom so I can point out a few things. All right, so this master bedroom is gonna have a lot of things in here. We got a fireplace, we have fire extinguishers, we have lights, we have AC vents, a lot. Unfortunately, sometimes the AV gets put in last. Originally, we had thought about in-ceiling speakers. The ceiling was changed out a little bit. Our ceilings are too high, so we have to make some adjustments. When it comes to the cabling, you still need, on average, a 16 gauge 2-conductor wire. If you want a thicker wire for more powerful speakers, you can run that as well. But 16 gauge is going to be able to handle majority of your speakers and majority of amplification. But when it comes to speaker placement, this is supposed to be a 5.1 surround sound. If I put my stuff in the ceiling to keep it out of the way, the audio isn't gonna get to where I want it. So we are playing with some ideas to do some in-wall speakers to bring the audio lower. However, our designers are giving us a little kickback because they don't wanna see a grill. So we are in the process of making final decisions to actually do invisible speakers. Invisible speakers, brands that carry them or that we carry: Sonance, Origin Acoustics, and Stealth Acoustics. Those are 3 brands that carry amazing invisible speakers that are gonna have to get installed during this stage. They do get sprayed and plastered over or wallpaper. Think of them as a piece of sheetrock that you can paint, and once the home is completed, you're not even going to be able to see them. I wanted to bring you into this room because this is going to be one of the rooms that are going to stand out the most. This is where our homeowners want to make sure that not only do they have a beautiful view to their property, but they don't have big rings or holes or anything looking at them. So this room is the place where you can throw in some invisible speakers and upgrade your whole entire experience. So this home has over 10,000 square feet of living space. Right now, you're just looking at studs, so I don't want to take the time to walk you throughout the entire house and have you looking at the same thing. So today is very educational. The reason I bring up that it's 10,000 square feet and that it's a smart home is because you're going to need some kind of Wi-Fi, right? We cannot live without Wi-Fi. Hallways are great places for you to conceal your access points so they're out of the way. Do keep in mind that you want to get them close to the areas where you're going to be covered. However, you don't want to walk into the master bedroom and the first thing that you see is an access point. So hallways, places where you can conceal them. You don't want to tuck them away in closets, but having them in a open area that it's out of the way is going to make your designer very happy. Now this is the foyer of a home. This is where you're gonna get a lot of eyes and everything is noticeable. So your access points, you have the option to do them in the ceiling. You have the option to do wall-mounted access points, or there is certain access points, for example, like Arachnis, that actually provide in-ceiling recessed brackets for their access points. That way they look like speakers and not smoke detectors or this big bulky round thing that's sticking out of the wall. So this is the foyer. This is another place where you might want to have some good Wi-Fi coverage, but you don't want an eyesore, something on the wall or in the ceiling as soon as you walk into the house. When it comes to access point placement, there is some in-ceiling options. There is some models and some manufacturers that carry wall access points, but if you just want to keep it out of the way, Arachnis actually carries brackets that allow the access point to be recessed into the ceiling so it looks like a speaker and it's not an eyesore. So as we're talking pre-construction brackets, for example, in the kitchen, this is gonna be a zone of audio. This is where they're gonna hang out, they're gonna have dinner, family dinner, parties, whatever. In the zone where you guys at, that's a whole separate surround sound. But the reason I'm talking about all of the speakers in pre-construction brackets, because those are things that you can actually install at this stage that will make your installation easier and your system more reliable. Speakers, if you go with invisible speakers, they have their placeholders. If you go with Klipsch, Allura, Martin Logan, Origin Acoustics, whoever you want to do that we carry, majority of those brands are going to have pre-construction speaker rings. These are rings that get installed during the construction stages, just like your light fixtures. It's going to be a ring, that way sheetrockers, cabinetry guys, whoever, is going to be able to cut the hole, and when you come in and install them, it'll be an easier installation. This is a home that's also going to have a lot of user interfaces. So whether you're doing Josh or whether you're doing a touchscreen, wiring your pre-construction brackets and your cabling in the placing where you're going to put your Josh or your touchscreen, it's important. That way, you know where it's going to go. As you're laying out these rooms and you're walking around the house, you can see how the flow of the house is going to be. And if you need to relocate it from this side to that side, you can do it at this stage and not have to cut up a bunch of walls during the sheetrock stages, or I'm sorry, after the sheetrock has been installed. We're in the garage. This is a 3-car garage with a separate storage that's gonna have more vehicles and a gym. But for example, majority of your LiftMasters are going to have MyQ built into them. Some of them are gonna run off of Wi-Fi. There is some hardwired options. I'm bringing you to the garage because security and integrating your garages is extremely important. So one of the things that you can do during this stage is actually wire an Ethernet cable from your rack to here. You're going to loop it at the motor, whether it's an in-ceiling motor or a wall-mounted motor, and then you're gonna finish it at the track of the garage. Why are we doing that? The wire that's going to be at the motor is going to be a contact trigger that's going to, it's going to be a trigger that is going to open and close the garage. The wire that we're going to put here, we're going to actually attach to a magnet contact that's going to share status of your garage. These are great for good night scenes, good morning scenes, I'm leaving scenes, to where you can press one button, good night, lights turn off. If your garage status shows as open, it can close it. Home is secured, and now you have peace of mind that all of your cars and your family are secure. So let's say your new home has multiple buildings. It has a detached garage or an in-law suites or whatever, gym in this scenario. One, run conduit between your rack location and the secondary building to make sure that you have wiring in between the two. If you are running over 300 feet, you want to go up to fiber because Ethernet has a limit on how far it can travel through an Ethernet cable. Another great tip is make sure that when you're doing job sites, you don't wear sneakers. I'm in a scenario where I can't show y'all everything because I don't want to mess up my shoes. We were doing walkthroughs today in the city for some of our amazing Dallas clients, and I had to sneak in here and show you phase 1 of this home. As we're talking about that, if you're in Dallas, subscribe to the channel. We need our Dallas community to support us and get our channel growing. If you're in Dallas, Austin, Houston, anywhere in the United States, we do have traveling teams and we're here to help. So click the link in the description, connect with us. We're here to help. Let's keep going with this video. Take a lot of pictures and a lot of videos. During this stage, there's a lot of things behind the walls that you're not gonna get to see when sheetrock is up. So before foam, walk around your entire house. Take some pictures, take some videos. They're going to be a big help when you have to find something that got covered up or you have to relocate something. It's gonna save you time, headaches, and money. Something as small as walking around your house and taking some picture is probably one of the most important tips that I can give you on this video, outside of calling Empire AV Services and Installations for your home automation needs. So we talked a lot about audio, we talked about Wi-Fi. This specific project actually has centralized lighting and smart shades. When it comes to smart shades, you just have to wire to the window. Decisions on shades and all that can be decided later. Now, electrical or your smart lighting, those are decisions that you want to make now. The reason I brought you into this room, because on most households, this is going to be one of those rooms that there's a lot of traffic. So you may have a bank of 6 switches here to control all the stuff over here. You may have another bank over here of 4 or 5 switches to control the stuff over here and some of the stuff over here. Then you may have another bank of 6 switches over here to control all the stuff as you're walking through the room. When it comes to centralized lighting, best way I can put it, yes, it's going to give you full access of everything, but more important than anything, it's going to clean up that wall acne. And there's a couple of ways to approach it. You do have to get with your electrician. You do have to think about this early. You do have to design it. But there is options of you putting 1 or 2 multi-button keypads at each of these locations to not only control individual lights, but control scenes. You may have a party scene in this room. You can party, the lights can turn to 40%, the music can start playing whatever radio station you want, and then when you have a party over scene, everything turns on. You can even set an announcement through the speakers if you want to have a last call announcement for everybody to get ready and have their last drink and leave. What I'm getting to is cleaning up the wall acne can not only make the lighting better, but it can improve your entire home automation experience. So let's talk about security. You may live in the most protected and gated subdivision, but you still want to have peace of mind that your property and your home is protected. So when it comes to contacts, making sure that you wire contacts to all of your operable windows with a 2-conductor wire, easy, go ahead and get it done. Not only that, all of your entry points, make sure that you wire to all of your entry points. Now, things to consider is that some of these doors may require different type of contacts. Some may be surface, some may be recessed, some may be rollers. You can do research on that later, but do wire for your contacts. Not only that, but cameras. Wiring a cat cable to every single corner of this house. It's going to give our client not only remote access, but local access. Technology has evolved so much that the cat cable in that wall is the only thing you need. Everything else goes onto the camera. These cameras have 2-way communication, day and night color vision. They have alerts, they have AI tracking technology, they have AI, sorry, let me get my words together. Artificial intelligent facial recognition recap. I think that's what it's called. Basically, if you want to see when someone came over to the house, you can find them in your system, click on their face and see how many times they've been here and when was the last time that they were here. That's how much technology has grown, and that's the type of equipment that we're putting in this house. Now you need a service like this one, connect with us. We're here to help. Thank y'all for watching today's video. We'll see you on the next one.